What's up guys, Jam here. Today we'll be covering Chapter 32 of Arc 5. Chapter 31 ended with Ferris unable to use healing magic on Mimi. Chapter 32 picks up exactly from where we left off last time. Mimi's chest wound was worse than they thought, it was right above her heart. Ferris was able to stop the bleeding with a magic cloth and several layers of bandages. Subaru and Garfiel desperately watch as they prayed for Mimi to live. Subaru turns to Garfiel and breaks the silence. He tells Garfiel not to worry about Mimi as she's in good hands and tells him to heal his own wounds. While Garfiel was healing himself, Subaru looks down at the conversation mirror in his hand. He was greeted by Wilhelm, who had a complex look on his face. The wound can't be closed, which is to say, it sounds like the divine protection of the Shinigami. Only one person could have that blessing, but Subaru quickly changes the topic. Wilhelm, how is your wrist? Wilhelm goes quiet briefly before speaking up. Even assuming that the injury was given by someone who had the same protection as my wife, as long as my wounds have not opened, her life cannot be near. Although, that should be a matter of course. Wilhelm. Subaru couldn't blame Wilhelm. He had already come to terms with his wife's death years ago. He couldn't tell if Wilhelm was frustrated or relieved by this new information. Before Subaru could dwell on it any longer, Ricardo approaches Garfiel. He thanks Garfiel for helping Mimi. Garfiel went quiet. Really, thank you very much. I'm deeply grateful. Ricardo bows his head to Garfiel. Subaru interrupts Ricardo as he turns to Garfiel. Garfiel, although it must be troubling for you, tell me exactly what happened, even if you're in such a state, which is hard to believe, not to mention. Subaru thinks about the drastic situation the city is in currently. He's then interrupted by Garfiel, who explains what happened to him and Mimi. Even stronger than you. Was one of them Capella? Most likely not. Ricardo gets up and grabs Garfiel's shoulder. He demands to know who hurt Mimi. Strong or not strong, I can already tell. What I want to know is, who left bro in such a state? Who did that to Mimi? Who should I seek revenge on? My amazing self's wounds are mostly from the guy. The woman was a distraction. However, because of that woman, Mimi. Wilhelm interrupts Garfiel. That woman, could you please leave her to me? Why? This has nothing to do with you, Wilhelm. Even you shouldn't take my right to have revenge on those who have harmed my family. I can't say for certain without having confirmation. However, if what I suspect is true, then that woman is a very important one to me. I must insist. If you anger me, I won't be able to spare you. Krush interrupts them. Wilhelm and Ricardo. Now, as companions, this is not time for strife. Not when so many civilian lives are exposed to danger. Once Ricardo and Wilhelm had calmed down, Anastasia spoke up. Okay, let's make a decision. Anastasia proposes raiding the city hall to not alert any of the control towers of potential attacks. Subaru nods in agreement. He then sighs and wishes that Reinhardt was here to help. Julius agrees and mentions that it's weird that Reinhardt isn't around. Reinhardt didn't even respond to the magic signal in the air. Julius attempts to say something, but hesitates. Subaru asks Julius what's wrong. Julius sighs, then speaks up. Reinhardt and Felt were last seen speaking to a red-haired man. Red-haired man. That couldn't be that damn bastard, could it? I can neither confirm nor deny this. Ferris then entered the room. I can't say that I saved her, but the wound isn't getting worse. That's all thanks to her brothers right now. Thanks to their link, she's barely managing to hold on. Ricardo asks what will happen to her brothers. Ferris explains that their blessing allows them to share the burden of fatigue and injuries, but they can only prolong her life. In other words, we have to move quickly, otherwise there's no point. Anastasia begins giving instructions to all of the factions. Subaru begins thinking about their strongest fighters, until he's interrupted. I'm going to. Those words came from Krush, who had tied her hair into a ponytail. Krush, by saying you'll go, you mean that you can fight? Although I'm not as strong as I was before, I've had Wilhelm as a teacher. I don't intend to be a burden. However, please be careful. Please put your safety first. Krush nods in agreement. If innocent people weep, then I will shield them under my wing. I will fight, Wilhelm. Honestly, but that is why I offer you my sword. Ferris smiles and begs to come with them. Ferris, go to each shelter and heal those in need. I'm very proud of your contributions, but don't mistake which battlefield you should be fighting on. Ferris sighs and tells Wilhelm to protect Krush. Wilhelm nods and swears to. Subaru struggles to stand up. Ferris was pissed and slapped Subaru upside the head. Subaru yells in pain while Ferris lectured him. Even if my foot is torn off, there are still things I have to do. Ferris, you should understand my feelings. Do you think I can really stay here and wait? Beatrice protected me and Amelia's in danger. You want me to do nothing? Is that to say you won't regret losing your foot? Of course I will regret it, but I would regret doing nothing more. Ferris begins casting magic on Subaru's right leg. Subaru smiles and begins to jump lightly. This is great, I can move. Then, Subaru looked down, feeling something sticky and wet. Hey, didn't you heal it? I never said I healed it. Ferris just removed the pain. As long as you're careful, you can keep your leg if you limit your running around. Ferris applied new bandages and casted more healing magic. Subaru realized he couldn't feel anything from that leg. Ferris warned Subaru to be very careful to prevent permanent damage to his leg. Understood, you've been a great help. I'm grateful. Subaru is absolutely certainly planning to ignore Ferris's words. Subaru thanks Ferris and catches up to Garfiel and Ricardo. Right, I'm coming too. It's useless to try to stop me. Why would I stop you? I'll be counting on you, bro. I can do things like, what? The white whale and sloth. Both times I've seen your efforts for myself, bro. You would be wrong if you only think that Wilhelm sees your value. I also see someone worthy of praise. Subaru was speechless. Before they leave, Subaru, Garfiel, and Ricardo say their goodbyes to Beatrice and Mimi. And with that, they march towards the city hall. And that sums up chapter 32 of Arc 5. Damn, Subaru might end up being crippled for the rest of the series. Let's hope Tappe isn't that cruel. Things are starting to heat up with the raid on the city hall. We'll also be seeing Capella for the first time. I wonder how strong she is. Anyway, with that being said, thank you for watching, and I hope you all have a great day.